The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wyldeside with Eric Clark. I am your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that notification button, and following me on any and all the social media I have linked down below. That way, if you've got a band, song, video, something you want me to check out, you can hit me up on social media or, thanks to our lovely moderators, go to our new Discord server. Everything is linked down below. The Discord server is going to give you one specific place where you can go and drop your links to the videos you want me to check out. If you would like to help the channel grow, become a Patreon member. Everything is linked down. I can't walk you through the door any better, man. If you got a song you want me to check out, a band, look, everything is down below. Before we get started today, thank you to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Today we are back with Nightwish, so I'm relying on all of my Sherpas to guide me along the way and fill me in with everything I need to know about today's video. Even though, at this point, I believe myself to be fairly versed on what I'm doing here, but again, I rely on all of you, my Sherpas, to guide me through this unknown musical journey of mine. Up this mountain of Nightwish we go. Today, we are checking out a track called Sacrament of Wildness. This is live Buenos Aires 2018 from the Decade Store. I think I've got the autograph over there somewhere, thanks to my lovely subscribers. So today, we're checking out Nightwish, Sacrament of Wildness, live Buenos Aires 2018. Let's check it out. Ooh, tasty. That is a complicated 4 minutes, 20 seconds right there. Wow, dude. Look, that's not fair. It's not fair, man. It's really not. It's not fair to do that to other bands, man, that they have to keep up with that. What a great punch in the face, right? It's like you get punched in the face and you're like, all right, man, that was good. That was a good one. I'll give you that. That was good. The thing about Tuomas is he is probably one of the, if not the, most perfectly measured composer in music. He really, really understands how much, when, and where. It's very important. Music is just layers. When I say just, I mean that when you break it down, music is layers of sound. That's the crayon way of describing music to someone who's never heard of it before. You would say it's just layers of sound put together to create one sound that sounds hopefully good. Tuomas, I've called him the baker of metal layer cakes, and he just knows exactly how much, when, and where to put. This dude's got a signature. Heavily influenced by Mike Oldfield. You can tell. You can tell because no matter how the song is put together, meaning no matter what type of song it is, there's always going to be a haunting element to it. This haunting thread that lives in that song, that ebbs and flows and ties everything together, is through those keyboards. It really is. The rest of the band, it's almost like, okay, if I can just, if you will indulge me this moment, I will attempt brevity. When I was a child, I'm one of four. I'm the quiet one of my family, if that tells you anything about how the house was growing up. I'm the quiet one. No one believes me until you meet my family. I am the quiet one. I cannot reinforce that enough. We were rather rambunctious white trash children. Well, my father had a trick. Anytime we went out in public somewhere, he would take 10 feet of clothesline for each of us and tie us onto his belt loop. So he would tie one end onto our belt loop and tie another end onto his belt loop. So that way when we were out, we only had 10 feet. But we were out doing whatever it was, but he knew we're 10 feet out there. If one of these lines goes slack, I know that there may be an issue with what is happening right here. That is how I see Tuomas with this band. He's allowing these geniuses, these brilliant masters of their craft, to go out and do their thing, but they're tethered through his composition. And the understanding that they all have as far as what they need to do to fulfill the sound in Tuomas's head. Because he's got this sound in his head and he goes, okay, luckily I have the people that I know can do it. Troy's pipes, man, that's like, I don't know what you call it, like Jethro Metallica, Metallitol or whatever it was, man, but it was perfect. And it wasn't dominating. Sometimes when you add an ancillary instrument to a focal point of a song, it can dominate and become a little too much. But this goes back to what I said about being a baker and understanding measures. He knew exactly how much of Troy to use to create that tone. So Troy steps in with a flute pipe, Uilleann pipe, whatever you call it, and he sets a tone right from the get-go. The tone has been set through the pipe. So it's this tone of diametrically opposed nuances. And when I say that, stick with me here. I hope I don't get too esoteric. Abraham Lincoln once said, we all possess better angels of our nature. If you watch cartoons, you'll see the devil on one shoulder and the angel on another. That's what I saw here. I'm not saying that Marco is a demon and that Floor is an angel. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying one is angelic and another is darker. And yet, when they harmonize, when they're together in that space, in their spatial understanding of the tone that they're creating, they're perfect. They're perfectly dichotomous. They're exactly what they need to be to continue the tone set earlier, so that the one tone is being threaded through the entire track. It's almost like an improvisation where I'm going to do something, then I'm just going to walk away, then you do it. Then you do your thing. You add to what I'm doing. Even though you know it's very well constructed and very well put together and very well organized, understanding the colors and the layers that are being put together here. So before I wrap up, I do need to say, I will never, ever, ever, no matter how many words I know, and I believe myself to be a wordsmith, I will never be able to really describe the wonderful, brilliant, and genius that is Emppu. I will never be able to convey that feeling. I've likened him to David Gilmour before, and I'll continue to do it. When people think of Pink Floyd, do you really think of the bass playing? No, you think of the lyrics and you think of the sounds. That's David Gilmour. The lyrics might be Roger, but the sound of Pink Floyd are three other dudes. David Gilmour is really the driving force behind that classic sound of Pink Floyd. Because David Gilmour, if you listen to Momentary Lapse of Reason, you get a great example of that. That David Gilmour, and it's funny because I've likened Human Nature to Momentary Lapse of Reason in that you listen to Momentary Lapse of Reason, let's look at it like an album. Side A, Side B. Side A are what we call digestible songs. Learning to Fly, One Slip, On the Turning Away, Dogs of War. These are all digestible or radio-friendly, whatever you want to call it, commercial-sounding songs, compositions. Yet, the brilliance is it's still Pink Floyd. It's like when Yes did 90125. They had Side A, all the digestible, Side B, hey man, let's do our thing, yet it's still Pink Floyd. So when you flip over Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason, you get Terminal Frost and songs like that. What you're getting is an expansion of Side A. Same thing with Yes. You're getting an expansion of that side. The reason Pink Floyd is able to flip that record that way is because of David Gilmour. The reason, one of the main reasons, Nightwish is capable of getting into so many different tones and sounds and themes, it's because of Emppu. Look, I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for it. But seriously, what he's doing in this song, it would take 5 guitar players to do. Honestly, that well. Yes, you could probably do it. I'm sure there are people that have YouTube channels that... Look, going to a concert in Nashville is like reading the comment section of a great band on YouTube. It really is. Because you go to I don't care who is playing in the city of Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. It could be Eric Clapton on stage with, name them, Buddy Guy, Bonnie Raitt, all of them together on one stage doing incredible Albert King covers. But somewhere in that audience, there's a handful of dudes who rehearse in storage units and record on their phones who believe they can do the same, who believe that they are just as capable of doing that. What I'm saying about Emppu is, bro, you're not. I know you want to think you can. And I'm sure that his attitude towards it is very humble. I'm sure he's a very amiable type. Everything I've seen from him, he is very loose, if you will, in his personality. But dude, this is a monster of a modern guitar player. And had that guy, talk about born a generation late, He's cover of Guitar Magazine, man. That is, again, I'll never be able to describe. He's top 5, man. He's top 5 modern guitarist. It really is, dude. His ability to create such magnificent, perfect tones. It's just something. It's like Steve Vai, man. It's incredible how he's able to do it. I'm talking like Gary Hoey type, Rory Gallagher, just perfect, beautiful, measured tones through that guitar that weep with emotion, that punch with anger. Anything you're looking to get emotionally from 6 strings on a wooden body, nobody does it better than Emppu. Now, before I leave, if you watch the video, you saw me, kind of leaning in a little bit. I was listening to what Kai was doing on those drums. I've given up expecting anything because every time I hear him play the drums, I find something that makes me go, is that normal? Right? Like, is that a normal thing for drummers to do, to be polyrhythmic, but not? It's not a time signature change. He wasn't changing tempo. He wasn't doing anything crazy like that. It was this little thing during those double bass rolls. It's real small, and I might have to go back and watch it again. He's rolling the double bass, and then he's rolling the fill, and then right at the end of the fill, almost off time, is a pop. And it's perfect. It fits. Even though it's I caught it because it was out of place. When I hear it in its context, it's perfect. These little subtle things. Going back to, like I said about Marco and his vocals, it's these subtle things. You have an expectation, and then he does something contrary to the expectation in his vocal, and that's what makes it unique. Same thing with Kai on these drums. It's this little thing. Yes, the drums are dominant. Yes, the drums are making all the noise and doing all this stuff. But there's this little cool thing that he'll do that makes you go, damn, man, only you would have thought of that. Just absolutely brilliant. Because, again, this Nightwish, dude, this is unfair. It's unfair. Like, if you're just learning how to be a musician and you watch that, you're like that's who I have to compete with? All right, man, I'll give it a whack. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see how that shakes out. So, again, a great performance. 2018 live Buenos Aires. Everybody looked great. Everybody was in the groove. Everybody was in that pocket. We talk about being in a pocket. And when you see them interchange on stage, you see them in that pocket. So there's like added instruments to these performances, right? When you see a live performance, you can feel them, right? So if the band is down, it's not that the band was down, it's that there was a Stonehenge on stage in danger of being crushed by a dwarf. Sorry. If a band is not in it, right, you can feel that, and what it does is it dampens, I don't mean wet, I mean dampens the performance, the sound, the tones. But when a band is in the pocket together, and that's what these folks show every performance. Once they come out, bro, they are in a groove, and they're in it. And even though they know you're there, even though they know that there's people in the room other than the band, there's a, I don't want to say this and make it sound like they're ignoring people or anything like that, but there are moments during a performance, I'm telling you this as a performer, there were times on stage for me, just as a stand-up comic, that I was in the middle of a routine and feeling such euphoria in the moment that the audience almost disappeared. They were there. I felt their presence. I heard them. But it was just white light. And I was in my area. I was in my pocket. And I was just going. And I would hope that that joy that I was feeling of that euphoria, that hit that I was getting from that, was amplifying my performance for them, the way that they do for their audience as well. Because once they get into that groove together, it amplifies everything about the performance. The tone, the tenor, the tempo, the mood, everything is affected by that groove and by that pocket. And they are just absolute geniuses at getting into that groove and reaching out and violently pulling you in and then telling you everything's okay. So thank you very much for that suggestion. Again, if you have suggestions for videos, bands, songs, something you want me to check out, hit me up on Discord. Discord is probably going to be the best way to go now that we have it set up the way we want it set up. If you go to our Discord server, our wonderful moderators have set up a Discord server that you can go in. There's a little tab off to the side, and it says reaction requests. Click there, post your video there. I check it every day. I'll go through. Just please no spamming. Do not overwhelm me. As the channel is growing, and I appreciate the channel growing, more suggestions come. So I just ask that you be patient and be judicious in your selection of which songs, bands, and videos you want me to check out. Because I do have stuff going on. I would love to spend all day, every day doing this, but that I would probably get burned on it. So go to the Discord, YouTube reaction, right there, boom, put it in there, and we will be more than happy to get it into the handy dandy notebook. And I cannot thank my moderators enough for doing that, because it's actually better than the handy dandy notebook. Now, this is a virtual handy dandy notebook that everybody has access to. We can all go in and get the suggestions that way. If I don't do your reaction right away, it's nothing personal. You'll see when you get in there, I get a lot of suggestions. So please go to the Discord, sign up. It's totally free. Get me your suggestions there. If you would like to help support the channel, support me and my family and the channel, and help us grow, down there is a Patreon as well. You're more than welcome to become a member. No obligation, but it will help the channel grow, and it'll help feed me and my kids. So I truly appreciate that. It'll help in these trying times. So again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us here on the Wild Side. Thank you to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter, and thank you to all of you for joining us today on the Wild Side. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this is the Wild Side.